All right, we're diving into Leviticus 26. And look, this isn't some dusty old list of rules. This is more like a high stakes, choose your own destiny kind of story. At its core, it's about a covenant, a serious, binding agreement between God and his people. And this chapter lays it all out. Two very different futures, a massive fork in the road, where, well, everything is on the line.
So here's our game plan. We're just going to walk through the chapter as it's written. We'll start with the foundation, the absolute non-negotiables. Then we'll explore the path of blessing. After that, we got to face the path of curses, and it gets intense. But you have to hang in there because it all ends on a really powerful note, the way back. Okay, so before you can pick a path, you got to know the rules of the road, right? These first two verses are not just random suggestions. They are the two pillars holding up this entire relationship. It's all about exclusive loyalty and sacred time.
So, verse 1, bam, right out of the gate, it's crystal clear. You shall not make idols for yourselves. Let's get a picture in our heads. Imagine a workshop, sun streaming through the dusty air. A craftsman has just put the finishing touches on this stunningly beautiful idol, all polished wood and gleaming old. It's a masterpiece. And then, crack, a hammer comes down and just shatters it into 1,000 pieces. That's the command, no competition.
Then, verse 2 completely flips the script. You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. So let's trade that image of destruction for one of total peace. Picture an entire community at sunset. All the work is done. The town is quiet. And everyone together is just peacefully looking towards the sanctuary. There's this collective sense of awe and calm. It's about setting aside a sacred time and a sacred place. So, with those ground rules set, now comes the big choice. Let's walk down the first path, the one that comes with being faithful. Verse 3 kicks it all off with maybe the most important word in the whole chapter, if. It says, if you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments, that little word, if, is the key that unlocks this entire future. And if they do, well, the results are not subtle. Verse 4 promises, I will give you rain in its season. I want you to see this, a field totally baked and cracked by the sun. Then the clouds roll in and this incredible, life-giving rain just soaks the earth. You can almost smell it. Then verse 5 tells us the harvest will be so massive that the grain harvest runs right into the grape harvest, which runs right into planting season. It's this beautiful, non-stop cycle of abundance. You're full, you're safe, life is good. And the blessings go way beyond the dinner table. Verse 6 promises peace. You'll sleep without fear. Dangerous animals will be gone. War won't even touch your land. And hey, if a fight does come your way, verse 7 says you'll be the one chasing them. And then verse 8 gives us this just wild image. Get this. 5 of you will chase off 100 enemies, and 100 of you will make 10,000 run for the hills. Can you even picture that? A tiny group sending a massive army into a full-blown panic? And it just keeps getting better. Verse 9 says God will look on you with favor. Your families will grow. And verse 10 gives us maybe the best visual of all. You'll have so much food that you're still eating last year's harvest when this year's comes in. So picture this. You're literally having to shovel out perfectly good old grain from your barns just to make space for the new stuff. It's an abundance problem. What a great problem to have.
But honestly, all of that, the food, the safety, the victories, that's all just the opening act for the ultimate blessing. Verse 11 says, I will set my tabernacle among you. So you see this glowing tent right in the center of the camp. But then verse 12 gets to the absolute heart of it all. I will walk among you and be your God, and you shall be my people. The image now is personal. It's this warm, gentle light moving between the tents at night. It's the very presence of God. And verse 13 seals the deal, reminding them, this is the God who broke the yoke of slavery off your necks and made you walk free. Okay, take a breath, because we've seen the path of blessing, but now we have to look at the other path. And the shift in tone here is like hitting a brick wall. Verse 14, but if you do not obey me. And verse 15 makes it personal, if you despise my statutes. This isn't just forgetting a rule, this is active rejection. And this is where the downward spiral begins. The consequences come fast and hard. Verse 16 warns of sudden terror. Picture a jump scare in real life. Then wasting diseases and burning fevers. You plant your fields only to watch your enemy come and eat your harvest. Verse 17 says you'll be defeated, ruled by those who hate you. And the psychological fear gets so deep, you'll find yourself running when no one is even chasing you. And if that doesn't get their attention, verse 18 warns, I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. How? Verse 19 gives us this unforgettable image. The sky above you turns to solid iron. No rain. The ground beneath your feet becomes like bronze, hard and useless. Verse 20 says all your work is for nothing. Just picture a farmer swinging a tool and it just goes clang, bouncing off the metallic ground, sending up useless sparks. If they keep going, verse 21 says, he will bring 7 times more plagues. Then verse 22 paints a chilling picture. I will also send wild beasts among you. These aren't just animals in the distance. They'll take your children, destroy your livestock, and shrink your population until your once busy roads are completely silent and empty. Imagine that, a long, deserted road with the menacing shadow of a predator falling across it. The spiral deepens. Verse 23 asks, what if you're still not reformed by this? If you keep going, verse 24 says God will go against you, punishing you another 7 times over. Verse 25 brings the sword of vengeance. You can hide in your cities, but plague will find you there. Then verse 26 gives this gut-wrenching image of famine. 10 women, their faces hollow with hunger, having to bake their tiny bread rations together in a single oven, because that's all the fuel and flour they have left. And after all this, if they still don't listen, verses 27 and 28 bring the final stage. This is the utter end. Verse 29 describes the unimaginable horror of parents eating their own children out of starvation. Verse 30, their sacred places are destroyed. Verse 31, their cities are turned to rubble. And finally, verse 33, they will be scattered among the nations, their land left empty. It's total societal collapse. And the punishment isn't just physical, it's psychological. Verses 34 and 35 have this grim little aside, saying the land will finally get the rest it was denied. But for the people, their minds are broken. Verse 36 says, the sound of a shaken leaf shall cause them to flee. Just picture that. A single leaf rustles, and it sends someone sprinting in absolute panic. Verses 37 to 39 describe them stumbling in fear, wasting away in foreign lands, consumed by their own guilt. Wow, okay, that was unrelenting darkness. But right here, at the absolute lowest point, the chapter pivots. The tone shifts completely, and out of all that devastation, a sliver of hope finally appears. There is a way back. Which leads us to the biggest question of all, right? After total destruction, unimaginable suffering, and breaking the covenant in every possible way, is there any hope left at all? Is it just over? And the answer, incredibly, is yes. But it requires a profound change. Verse 40 gives us the first step. But if they confess their iniquity, it starts with honesty. Then, verse 41 continues, if their hearts are humbled and they accept their guilt. So there it is, the path to restoration: confess, humble yourself, and accept that the punishment was just. That is the journey from darkness back toward the light. And what is that hope built on? Well, verse 42 says, if they do this, then I will remember my covenant. But verse 44 gives us the unbreakable promise. Listen to this. Yet for all that, when they are in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away to utterly destroy them and break my covenant with them. Even at their absolute worst, God says, I won't break the deal. And verse 45 brings it all home. He says, for their sake he will remember the covenant he made with their ancestors, the ones he brought out of Egypt. And you see what that means, right? The hope isn't based on their ability to be perfect. It's rooted in his character and his original promise. Their future isn't based on their performance, but on his faithfulness. That's a real game changer. And the chapter concludes with verse 46, bringing us full circle. These are the statutes and judgments and laws which the Lord made between himself and the children of Israel on Mount Sinai. That one final sentence ties this whole dramatic choice, the blessings, the curses, the incredible hope of restoration. It ties it all back to that one monumental event. It grounds everything in a real historical moment, leaving us with the immense weight and significance of the covenant made at the foot of that mountain.